I'm EdwardStarcraft, and with me is Digiwombat, and we are here casting live on Justin.tv/EdwardStarcraft. Yes, I just had to use that phrase for once today. I've been moving away from that phrase, but we're hosting this best out of 7 show match between terrific ooh, as soon as I say terrific, perfect just makes a small blunder. Not quite so perfect. Anyways, he is a green Protoss player on the right-hand side of this map, and spawning at the left-hand side of this map, we have the red Terran player who is SixjaxDDE. Wow, you know, we've seen some interesting games so far today, Wombat, but you know, nothing too long so far. I mean, the first 2 games, we had some early pressure from both players, and you know, the first game, Perfect's early pressure worked very well for him, and then the second game, his early pressure, I mean, it was scouted, the Stargate was scouted, and it kind of backfired from then on. You know, this will be an interesting game, I have to say, because really, Perfect, I mean, he has a variety of tricks. You saw that his pressure at the start of the games really does him a lot of good, especially in Game 1, and it could have done him a lot of good in Game 2, except that that SCV just scouted his opponent's base, and it worked really well.
That starport. Yeah. I gotta say, what I think I like the most so far about what I'm seeing here, if you take a look back at the first game, Xel'Naga Caverns, clearly DDE, he wants to be an aggressive Terran player, but he knows he noticed early on after losing that first game, he immediately adapted when we went over to Metalopolis. He realized, okay, Perfect is going to play super aggressive. And DDE switched it up. He immediately went for more of a like early turtle style, and he was like, all right, I'm going to just be comfortable, I'm going to take my time. You know, tried to go for the fast expand, but he wanted to play, you know, he was clearly with the 1-Rax FE going to pull off of super aggressive play. And I like that. It's a really good reaction to Perfect being very aggressive as an opener. And it really helped him win that second game. And hopefully he continues on, or Perfect switches his game up and says, okay, now I'm going to play Econ, and, you know.
Yeah, that's the great thing about best out of whatever series, is that you really have to think, well, no, what did my opponent do last time? What is he thinking that I would do? How can I think that, you know, maybe I can make him think that I'm doing one thing and trick him into doing another thing. And then you have to say, well, he knows that I know that, and then it just gets you know, to be like a huge mess.
That's the beauty of StarCraft.
Yeah,
right?
That's why so many StarCraft players play poker. So, you know, interestingly enough, we saw that Perfect just gas stole DDE. It's not there anymore because DDE took it off, but that's a deviation. You know, what can DDE be thinking? DDE over here building a bunker, preventing Perfect from expanding really, really quickly. That's a deviation. Well, what are they going to do here?
He's got that low ground pylon up there, so he's clearly getting ready for an expansion, but there's 4 gates up. That is going to be interesting. Now we do have this early pressure coming in from DD. The thing is, it's really hard to hold this ramp in, you know, Protoss versus Terran or any game, because you know, this ramp is just so big. Now DD sees this, and he's going to run straight into the main base for Perfect, but fended off by these stalkers, by these sentries. Ooh, but not enough units over here. Perfect might lose some units, and DDE might find out about that 4-gate, but it looks like he is just gonna bounce off. He's gonna be like, see ya guys, I'm gonna expand because I think you're expanding as well. But oh, Perfect, such a sneaky guy. But there's I can't help but point out, there's no forward pylon. Do you think he's just going to do the long run, set up a forward pylon when he has enough forces, or do you think he's thinking more defensive 4-gate in case DDE is super aggressive? Well, no, he's pushing out with it, so
well, DDE
never mind.
Just scanned Perfect's base, but you can see that Perfect, he is indeed not sending out a probe, so I'm confused. You know, Perfect's going to move in with these units.
Expansion going up. There we go.
Okay, so he is expanding, and you know, he's going to. This is a time where it's like, I know that he knows that, you know, and you know, Perfect's like, you know, I know that DDE knows that I'm 4-gating, so I'm not going to 4-gate instead. And you know, DDE's really worried, right? He lifted his base back into his base. He's building 3 bunkers at the front of his base, and he's just prepared for an onslaught And Perfect's like,
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I just got a little. Just gonna do this. Beautiful, beautiful feint by Perfect. It really is. I love it.
It wasn't even a feint. It was more like, I can do it, and just because I can doesn't mean I have to. And just because he can means that DDE has to prepare for it. So, DDE, his early expansion. I mean, he got it pretty early. It's for naught. Perfect's going to get his expansion up before DDE. And going to get a Robo, so we'll be ahead in tech as well. Actually, no, DDE's getting a Starport, so not too ahead in tech, but DDE actually getting a reactor on his factory. I think that's going to be to swap with the Starport so we can get a few more medevacs, because drops will be king on this map. And now,
yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Like, I want to see some drop play.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't seen any so far, and a lot of Terrans, they got to. I know just a lot of Grandmaster Terrans, they just get to where they are by, like, I can do 4 drops at the same time.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of games go down that way. I was watching through some of the MLG replays, and you just see a dude that's behind, forever behind, load up like 4 or 5 medevacs and just drive over there and go, okay, hey, here's half my army, and they're in your base, and you weren't ready.
Yeah, definitely.
And then all their stuff's dead.
I mean, here's the thing, when you're attacking, I'm just like, no, I'll throw some units over there, I'll throw some units over there. But, when you're defending, you're like, oh, how many do I need to send over here? Oh, Mo, he's sending some over there. Oh, 1A, and then suddenly you take a lot of damage because you can't decide, guac or salsa.
Yeah. And it's super dangerous, too. I mean, it's not every Terran in the world. Are those dropships loaded up?
Mm-hmm. 2 dropships coming on,
nice.
1 with Marines, 1 with Marauders. But Perfect, he does have his army in his main base, and he had an observer. I'm not sure if he spotted it, though. But you can see here is a 2-prong attack from DDE. The thing is, if Perfect fends this off, he'll be in a good shape. But here come the dropships. Perfect! Is he going to be able to defend this? Now, he doesn't have many Zealots over here, so those Marines, Marauders will do quite a bit of damage. But warping in Zealots now, usually it's actually a decent idea to target fire down the medevacs as soon as possible with your stalkers.
So they can't get away.
Yeah. But, I mean, he took down 1 medevac that actually had a few units in it, so...
Had a few units, yeah. Sadly, they didn't get the one that was full of stuff, but...
Yeah, I mean, we take a look at the resources lost, and you can see that DDE with more resources lost than Perfect, so decent trade over there, and I'm not sure what happened to the frontal forces, but apparently DDE decided not to go in with them.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, right when we were talking about it, and I was sort of hoping DDE would do it to sort of follow up the point, is what you were saying is you can't just put your entire army in one spot, for drops, because there's so many players, especially at this level of play, these pro-level players, that are able to get into fantastic position, do multi-pronged attacks where you can't just put stuff in one spot,
Another drop coming in for DDE. Perfect spots it, and it goes away.
Perfect is really doing a great job shutting down that harass, and it's just going to hurt DDE more and more as the game goes.
Take a look at the income. I mean, Harvester's DDE at 40, Perfect at 53. Income is slightly higher for Perfect. That's because of DDE's mules, but now Perfect amassing a decent number of Colossi. 3rd Colossus coming out. Extended Thermal Lances will be out soon as well. And I mean, as basically, Perfect, he can just continue macroing up, get his upgrades up. Once he gets +1 armor, +1 attack, warp in a few more units, and I mean, it's going to be a tough time for DDE. Uphill battle. Another drop
especially
coming
with
in.
no upgrades for DDE. I mean, he's just going to see, even on these drops, he's going to see diminishing returns.
Yeah.
He is dropping in 2 spots now, which I like, but the best he's going to really be able to do is hit some pylons.
He didn't even get a pylon, just got 1 Zealot over there. Got a pylon here at the bottom, though. But
I always like to say, those Colossi with extended thermal lance, I count them as 10 supply rather than they take 6, I think. Because it's just they're not 6 supply worth. Like, if you look at a Thor against a Mutaball, Thor is worth more than 6 supply. But against pretty much everything, like those Colossi, once they come out in force, they're just too scary.
Definitely. Well, another drop coming in, but DDE has to back out yet again. Perfect. Yeah, just doing a great job at shutting down this harassment. And here's the problem, is that now all of the forces for DDE are split up when Perfect decides, you know what, I'll go in, which could be very soon. I mean, ground 11 weapons +1, ground armor +1, and blink are about to finish. I mean, that is a great time to move in.
+1 just getting underway for DDE. It's such a scary spot for him. Like, if anything happens...
Ooh, and you lose that dropship.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
he needed that.
Just shutting down those dropships, doing such a great job here for Perfect, and now once he decides to move in, I mean, that's going to lend Perfect a huge advantage over here. And, you know, with these new upgrades, it's going to be very, very difficult for DDE to take out Perfect's units. You know, with these narrow corridors.
Can't agree with DDE taking these racks out. Yeah. I just can't do it. He should know he's behind. I feel like at the very least he should just like turtle, upgrade, like try to be ahead in the macro game, maybe sneaky take the gold, do a little sneaky down there, try to get the gold base and try to put himself in better position because he knows his harass hasn't worked. He knows he has shut nothing down for Perfect, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, if he goes into the middle, then it's like force field, and then all of your units melt. However, DDE does have a decent number of Vikings, so I mean, that's going to be a redeeming factor here. Perfect does see DDE's units coming in, and funnily enough, he's just chasing after this small group of Marines, but now he realizes that he does have to get back. We're here even taking a third base at the same time, but these Marines will spot it. Nice job there by DDE. Just, you know, he just finally got rid of the forces, shook off Perfect's forces, and then it's doing this multi-pronged harassment, which is still relatively effective, even though it's not doing like concrete damage here to Perfect. It still delays Perfect's expansion, but both players now nearly max out. Ooh, and destroying one of Perfect's.
That's sad for that little probe.
Yeah.
He had aspirations for the future, which he will never be able to realize.
Got ahead of himself. Okay, now looks like another battle coming into play. Ooh, Perfect's Colossi a bit out of position, but nice force fields going down. These Zealots plus the Colossi just roasting the units, but force fields actually, and blocking off the Zealots in turn. But here's the thing, we have so many Vikings over here, and it looks like that Perfect's ground army is just going to reign supreme. And now, what can you do with your air army? DDE, there is the GG from DDE. Congratulations to Perfect for taking yet another game